born on April 27, 1969, in Washington, D.C., to affluent civil rights activists. He attended prestigious schools including Stanford University and Yale Law School, and went on to become a politician in the city of Newark, New Jersey, vowing to reduce the crime rate there and improve education and city services. Booker was elected mayor of Newark in 2006. He reduced the crime rate significantly during his first term as mayor, even patrolling the streets himself until 4 in the morning, implemented pay cuts for top-earning city managers and directors, and reduced his own salary by 8%. An avid user of social media, particularly Twitter, Booker became known as the second most social mayor in the country. He won a seat in the U.S. Senate in a special 2013 election. In July 2016, Hillary Clinton placed Booker on her short list for possible vice presidential running mates, where he was given a primetime speaker position on the first night of the Democratic National Convention. Booker gave a rousing speech that received cheers from the audience when he repeated a refrain from Still I Rise, a poem by Maya Angelou, "America, we rise," and went on to announce his bid for the presidency in early 2019. Booker has been titled
Corey will fight for access to quality, affordable and universal health care, and act to bring down prescription drug costs. He's agreed to invest in ending the maternal mortality epidemic and reducing racial disparities in maternal mortality rates. He wants to ensure access to affordable long-term services and support to every American that needs it.
Presidents are, I think, at their best when they don't wait on Congress, but they also, like FDR did, in creating programs that now we take for granted, like Social Security and more. Presidents have to be able to sell things, have to be able to move the bar, have to be able to make change happen. We can prove that we are on the right side of history by creating a public option that works, that has everybody from small businesses and entrepreneurs to folks like those that are in my community that can easily shift into that public. Change doesn't come from Washington, it comes to Washington. We didn't get women's right to vote because a bunch of male senators got together and put their arms around each other and said, hey fellas, it's time to get women the right to vote. We got that fundamental American right because people fought, demonstrated, demanded it, and it happened. This issue of healthcare for me, I see it every single day, how people are dying. Let's not use euphemisms. And so this is a moral issue. I really believe we need, especially after this president who is every day engaging in moral vandalism, the next president is not going to just have to be a great policy tactician. They're going to have to be a president that can best heal this country, call to our moral imagination, and call us to more collective action to achieve what should be fundamentally just.
Cory Booker defends and stands for DACA, which is a program that protects deportation from young undocumented people who came to the U.S. as children. Booker was among a group of Senate Democrats who introduced the Keep Families Together Act, which aimed at keeping immigrant families together and preventing Homeland Security from separating children from their parents at the border.
Booker. Today, the Supreme Court of the United States hears oral arguments in the DACA case. We overwhelmingly in America support the DACA Americans. I call them Americans because they're American in every single way except for a piece of paper. 83% of Americans agree to the citizenship rights for DACA recipients. And so I'm asking you today to let it be known that you stand with folks who are receiving DACA. This is critical. They are essential to our nation's fabric, to the honor of this country. They are essential to who we say we are, a nation of justice. Stand with all those who are receiving DACA, as well as standing with their families as well, because they too should have pathways to citizenship.
Another issue Senator Booker has been a strong advocate for is diminishing racial disparities. In June of 2019, he addresses racial disparities when it comes to college loans. It is stated that students of color who take loans are stuck with disproportionately higher debt than their white counterparts. Booker wrote that African American college graduates owe $7,400 more in debt than their white peers when they receive a bachelor's degree. Yes, $7,400 more in debt on average. Cory Booker also talks about the reparations for the war on drugs. It has been prevalent now that the marijuana has been legalized in most states in the USA, and many businesses profit off of it. But there are still people of color being arrested and are in jail for possessing marijuana. So Booker proposed the Marijuana Justice Act. What the Marijuana Justice Act entails is to remove marijuana from the list of controlled substances, making it legal on the federal level, create community reinvestment fund to reinvest in the communities most impacted by the failed war on drugs, and allow these funds to be invested into programs like job training for youth, libraries and youth community centers like Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, and so much more.
Let's rise together. Vote for Cory Booker, 2020 United States President.
What's up? Amen. I grew up knowing that the only way we can make change is when people come together. When I was a baby, my parents tried to move us into a neighborhood with great public schools, but realtors wouldn't sell us a home because of the color of our skin. A group of white lawyers who had watched the courage of civil rights activists were inspired to help black families in their own community, including mine. And they changed the course of my entire life. Because in America, courage is contagious. My dad told me, boy, never forget where you came from or how many people had to sacrifice to get you where you are. So over 20 years ago, I moved into the Central Ward of Newark to fight slumlords and help families stay in their homes. I still live there today, and I'm the only senator who goes home to a low-income inner-city community, the first community that took a chance on me. We are better when we help each other. The history of our nation is defined by collective action, by interwoven destinies of slaves and abolitionists, of those born here and those who chose America as home, those who took up arms to defend our country, and those who linked arms to challenge and change it. I believe that we can build a country where no one is forgotten, no one is left behind, where parents can put food on the table, where there are good-paying jobs with good benefits in every neighborhood, where our criminal justice system keeps us safe instead of shuffling more children into cages and coffins, where we see the faces of our leaders on television and feel pride, not shame. It is not a matter of can we. It's a matter of do we have the collective will, the American will. I believe we do. Together, we will channel our common pain back into our common purpose. Together, America, we will rise. I'm Cory Booker, and I'm running for President of the United States of America.
Americans are losing faith for this country to work for them. I am running to restore America's sense of common purpose, to focus on the common pain that all Americans throughout this country face. America, we can do better, and I'm going to show America that we can come together respectfully when we work together despite our differences, and above all, when we stand together as Americans, we can accomplish anything we set out to do. I believe we can do the impossible things when we come together as one country. In my term as president, I don't want the Democratic Party to be defined by what we are against, but by what we are for. As your president, I don't want to be defined by just beating Republicans, but uniting all Americans, removing the disgraceful acts of separation our country is currently suffering from. I support race to the top education reform, very much like President Obama, an advocate of the education reform movement. I have backed New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's expansion of charter schools and merit pay increase for teachers, as well as a form of vouchers for some impoverished areas. I currently sit on the board of Democrats for Education Reform. I will go out of my way to support America's children in early childhood education, to support vulnerable students, and to support students with disabilities. I will fight for our schools. I support teachers, college affordability, and community colleges. America, I am not in this race to try and convince you of my works by tearing down my opponent, but strictly to let my work speak for itself. With your vote and joining me on my campaign trail, I will first become the Democratic nomination and second become the President of the United States of America in 2020.